Rob, let's go to a game that was taking place last night while we were on the air. And the Philadephia 76ers, without the newly named MVP, Joel Embiid, absolutely stun the NBA world and especially the Boston Celtics and win 119-115. Now, the big story, of course, is James Harden turned back the clock and went Houston Harden, scores 45 points, takes 30 shots, but hit 17 of them, so over 50%. Hits half of his three-point attempts, 7 for 14. And he played great, Rob. And it was so, I don't know if you saw this, but it was trending, I think, on Twitter. They were trolling some of the hosts on ESPN, not the main show, but just some of the shows during the day, were mocking the idea that Harden might go nuclear and lead Philadelphia to a victory. And people were mocking them because of that.
Right.
But were you surprised at Harden? And what were your thoughts on what he did?
Absolutely surprised because there's been so much bad James Harden in the postseason.
Right.
And, it's not like he's been lights out and he's just been on bad teams and situations haven't worked out. You know what I mean? He's been bad. He's been bad.
Right.
And to put up that kind of performance where you hit half of your threes, you make the big game-winning three,
great shot.
and all that kind of stuff when your number one guy is down, and that's when they want you to step up, right? Next man up, who's available, who can play.
Right.
And to steal game one in Boston, where Boston has had a stranglehold on the 76ers, is huge. I think it's huge. And I'm not saying the series is over, and obviously Boston can bounce back, but that is something I didn't expect. I just didn't. And if you're Boston, you saw the way they walked off that court. They were stung.
Yeah,
they were stung.
I think they definitely look. They've shown a propensity for this, Rob. At times during the regular season, they lost a 29-point lead to the Nets.
I remember that at home.
Yeah.
I remember that
Atlanta, they let Atlanta hang around longer than they should have in the first round, went 6 games with them.
Yep, that's another one.
They do this, and I think last night there is no doubt that they took Philadelphia lightly without Joel Embiid playing. Now, that's not to take anything away from the Sixers because Maxey played great with 26, and Harden was spectacular. I'm surprised that Philadelphia won. I am not honest. I'm going to be honest, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I'm not that surprised by James Harden. And here's why. I firmly believe, I get it, he's older, but Rob, I firmly believe that James Harden, if he still was in Houston, or if Embiid was out for the entire season, or something like that, I think Harden could put up numbers similar to what he did in Houston during his heyday. I mean, that's what he played like last night. It was a lot of one-on-one, him dribbling at the top of the key, creating space and shooting a three or going by somebody like he used to do in Houston. I think he can still do that. And he is correct. He said in the postgame that not many guys can switch from being, this big-time scorer to being a point guard and true point guard and playmaker like he has in Philadelphia, Rob. And we know he did it in Brooklyn. I think James Harden is one of the very few players in NBA history who has been an all-time elite scorer and could also be an all-time elite point guard playmaker. He's shown it. I think he was great in Brooklyn. We talked about it, Rob. Had he stayed healthy his first year in Brooklyn, we thought he could have been the MVP. I mean, people were holding it against him that he quit on the Rockets. We get it. But he was playing fantastic. Kyrie was like, look, I'll get off the ball. This dude is balling. So I'm not surprised that he had this in him. And Rob, I got to say this. I thought it was set. This does not change my mind or give me confidence that Harden won't still perhaps be that guy that shrinks in the biggest moment. I get it. It was a big game. It was a big shot, obviously, to hit the three. But Rob, there was no pressure on James Harden. Like, this is game one. Your superstar's out. You're not supposed to win. Nobody thinks you're going to win. And you just playing with house money. Nobody expects anything. I'm just going to go out there and ball. I can shoot all I want because Embiid's not here. I want to see him do, and then you don't have to score 45. I don't even think he has to score 30. I'm not asking for Houston Harden. I'm just saying when you're in a big game, play your game. Don't look tentative or get tentative. Don't, run from the moment. Don't run from the ball. Play your game. If your game now is 23-11, fine. Be aggressive and play your game. Rob, even if you're aggressive and you just kind of off that game, you can still impact the game positively in other ways if you don't shrink. And so that's what I want to see. When in a game 6, a game 7, a closeout game, whatever it might be, I just got to see it on a bigger stage. Because, look, Harden's had big playoff games. It's not like he's always been horrible in the playoffs. It's just in those crucial games, a lot of times he would go tentative, right? It was like he wouldn't shoot or he just wasn't himself. Wasn't aggressive like usual. And so I want to see him stay aggressive. This doesn't seal the deal for me that he's going to deliver when the stakes are the highest.
That's fair. But in that situation, and it's true, no one expected him to win. So it does help you a little bit where you say to yourself, if we don't win, no one's going to bury me or kill me. But that still doesn't mean automatically you're going to make those big shots and do what you have to do like that. That's just one of those things. It could turn the series. I'm not saying it.
Oh, absolutely.
It will, but it could, because now going in, they got to have a different feel, and they got what they needed, which was a split in Boston. They got what they needed, and hoping that Embiid can bounce back.
Rob, this is why, and you and I talked about it earlier, and there's these rumors and reports out there. We asked Mark Stein, the great NBA insider, about it late last week. Are these Harden to Houston rumors legit? And he said people around the NBA believe they are legit. And Rob, first of all, those should not be out there right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, how in the world does James Harden or his agent allow that to even be out there?
Because they want it out there. I mean, you're right.
Right? During the playoff series, we got a chance to win a championship.
I can remember in Detroit, after the Pistons won, Chris, the championship in 2004, and then the next year, remember, they went back to the finals against San Antonio. And the rumors were out about Larry Brown interviewing at Cleveland. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Like,
and that was Larry Brown.
That was typical. Like, what?
Yeah.
Dude, that dude was the mayor of Detroit. Can I tell you that? Larry Brown, I didn't understand that. How much love do you need? Like you won an unbelievable championship. You beat Shaq and Kobe. And Larry Brown, Chris, you know this. He put his stamp on that team. He made Chauncey a better player. They played defense.
No doubt.
Like, that wasn't like he just showed up and the team was already good. That's not what happened.
I mean, they were pretty good.
Right.
Remember, they won 50 under Rick Carlisle.
But they weren't right.
No, they weren't a championship team. Right. No doubt. You're right. But, Rob, Larry Brown, as great a coach as he is, I have not seen a coach, and maybe even a player, at least publicly, that had wanderlust
always
as much as Larry Brown.
Always.
I mean, it's legendary. Now, how did that affect the series at all? Do you think it affected the players at all, or
no? Because they
knew what Larry was.
Yeah, but they could have, Chris. I mean, there was a big gaffe in that playoff series.
Yes, Rasheed.
Rashid left.
Was it Rasheed that left? Yeah,
Rasheed left Robert Ory and to trap.
Won that.
You remember that to trap Ginobili? Yep. I was sitting right over there to trap him, and Ginobili passed it out, and Robert Ory hit a shot, and then the Pistons had a chance. If you remember, Rip Hamilton had a shot with 3 or 4 seconds to go that didn't go in. But anyway, my point is, I don't think that affected him, but it was just weird. Like, you won a championship, you're going for your second trip, you know what I mean, to tell everybody it wasn't a fluke, Chris, to make it back-to-back years, and then your name's being mentioned for another team.
I remember that. That was crazy. But, Rob, this is why you and I both thought it was ridiculous on both Houston's and James Harden's part. James Harden, you still got a lot left. He's still, he shouldn't give up his quest. They may win it. I don't think they'll win it this year, but, they're in the hunt. But if they don't win it this year, don't give up your quest to win it. Go to Houston for what?
After a performance like that, why would you want to waste it on a team going nowhere? Like you're at the end of your career. I don't understand. If you could do that, you can be on a team, stay with the Sixers. Or at least if you really got to move, Chris, then at least go to a team that got a shot. Right. But to go back to Houston so that you could, you know what? In a couple of years, you could live in Houston and go to the strip clubs, do whatever you want. You could do all that.
Rob,
you
and
could do all that.
It ain't like Houston's the only place with those clubs.
But I'm just saying, I don't understand.
And you're right. In the offseason, the NBA,
move to Houston. If that is that what you like, it move to Houston. I don't get it.
I mean, during the season, it really the notion of so and so doesn't want to live here, and that's why he's leaving the team. I mean, players are free to go where they want. I'm just saying, when you live in an NBA city during the season, you're traveling a lot,
right?
And then in the offseason, you can live wherever you want. You don't have to stay in that city. So if you just are in love with the city of Houston and the nightlife and all that, you got the whole offseason to do that.
Yeah, I don't.
And
I don't
you
get
can
it.
bring, you're an NBA superstar. You're not just an NBA player. You're an NBA superstar. Heck, you can bring the party to you wherever you're at. So Rob, I would be disappointed in James Harden. It would just be like you just selling yourself short. You playing with Joel Embiid. Why wouldn't you stay there
and try to at least win one championship, and then not that it's going to totally define you, but it enhances your career. It doesn't define you. He was a great player. He's done a lot of stuff, but it enhances
but it would make a difference,
who you are and how people look at you.
Yeah.
To say this guy, and especially if you go back to Houston to have two or three or whatever it is, 4 miserable years, to do what?
To average 30.
Right.
And I don't even know if he'd do that because they got the young guys they want to give some shine to. So it just makes no sense. So